Oh, buddy boy, it's episode 16. Are you ready?
Sure, yeah. My beard in check, we good? I need to shave. Look at this. I put it in a ponytail the other day, or not in a ponytail, in a little thing, just to see if I could,
Yeah.
and I could. Let's go.
Roll the intro. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Bitcade. Yeah. It's episode 16.
16.
As previously
Sweet 16.
stated. It is our Sweet 16.
Mhm.
Yeah. My name is Ryan. This is...
I'm the David.
I was wondering where you're going with that. I was like, I'm done. Well, hold on. Let me check. Yes, this is Bitcade. It is Primal Target's official video game podcast, because there is no other one, but it's official because we're slapping the stamp on it.
Trademarked.
Yeah. Well, not yet.
No,
Hopefully, no, let's
some
not know
down
that.
the road.
In this episode, we will be talking about Easter eggs.
Mhm.
We will be talking about BioShock, and we'll be talking about some banter,
Just-
some regular banter.
Mhm.
So first topic is your topic,
It's my topic.
and it is Easter eggs. So why don't you explain what the heck? Why are we talking about Easter eggs in May?
So we're talking about Easter eggs in May because a couple weeks ago, Ryan, myself, Ashton from Twitch stream Bitcade, or not Bitcade, Primal Target
Yeah.
member, and a couple of Ryan's friends, we all went and saw Ready Player One,
Yep.
which was a fun movie. I thought it was fun.
I liked it.
I don't critique movies. I just go off. I've gotten to the point towards movies where if I had fun or if I didn't have fun.
You essentially
fun.
Your rating system is thumbs up, thumbs down.
Basically,
that's it.
yeah. I was
It's
like,
either
I had
good or
fun.
bad.
I had fun.
Yeah.
A little predictable, but then again, it's like when you know these things in video games already, it's like you can see where it's going. Although I will say the second key, I was not expecting that, and that was probably my favorite part of the whole movie.
Really, the second key was
When they were when then the Overlook Hotel, that was my favorite part from The
yeah.
Shining.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That was my favorite part of the whole
Yeah.
movie.
Because
'Cause I was not expecting that.
my favorite part was probably the car racing scene, and it's
And
like
the intro in the very beginning,
Yeah,
just
because
right
I was like,
in.
holy crap, you could not do this in a book. Like,
Yeah.
But
I did
yeah.
appreciate that about the movie is they didn't like do all this story leading up to it. They just you're
Boom.
in,
Yeah.
you're going.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to topic. Easter eggs. A lot of Easter eggs in that movie. I spent pretty much that whole time just being like, do I know that character? There's that character. There's that character. I know that character.
It's all your training. I was talking
I
to Christian
know.
about this. Is like we've been training all of our lives
Yeah.
for this one movie.
Yeah, who are we gonna see? Who are we gonna
Yeah.
see? And I was a little disappointed. I saw, as you guys know, my three ladies up there: Captain Marvel, Tally, Zora, and Catwoman. I only saw one of them in that movie, and it's not the one you think it would be.
Yeah.
It wasn't Tally. It was Catwoman.
Yeah.
And
she was in there, wasn't she?
She was in the movie for like 2 seconds,
Yeah.
and it was from behind. And so if you didn't know the silhouette, you wouldn't have not known it was her.
Because the thing I've noticed, there was a lot of
Background,
there's a lot of Blizzard stuff.
yes,
Because we got to see what's his face from StarCraft.
yeah.
We
I
got to
don't-
see Tracer several times.
yeah.
A lot of Xbox stuff too. There was like
This the team of Spartans.
Yeah. It was and so it's like and we saw the Lancer, the Gears of War Lancer.
Yeah, that got
And-
like destroyed immediately. That was a little
Yeah.
upsetting.
That's what a lot of people are saying. They're like, "Oh, that could have been so cool. Where was
Uh-huh.
that?" And then but no PlayStation properties that I can remember.
Not that I can recall. Not like split PlayStation exclusive. Like no Uncharted.
No God of War.
Yeah.
No nothing like that.
I
was
figured
man,
considering they had like movie items as weapons, I figured like his chain blades would
yeah,
probably
yeah.
show up
Were,
or something.
were
but
there Nintendo stuff? Was there any Mario?
not that I can. Not Nintendo specific. Not that I can think of.
Huh.
Everything I saw was from like publishers that do like multi-platform publishing.
Yeah. Except for Microsoft did their.
Except for Microsoft, yeah. Except for Halo.
Yeah, and Gears.
And Gears, yeah.
It was interesting.
I was expecting to at least see like I was like hoping to at least see like a Mass Effect gun, just something from Mass
Yeah,
Effect.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, come on, where is it? I'm like, no, nothing. But
Yeah.
you know, anyways, that got me thinking about Easter eggs in games, which is what we're going to be talking about now. Just some of our favorite Easter eggs that I would say that we have personally come across versus maybe ones that you have seen or heard about.
Okay.
But
are we doing boom boom?
I have a lot.
Okay. How many you got? I got 3.
I have a half a page.
Jeezums. All right. Here, I'll give one, and then you can go on for a little bit, and then I'll jump in again for my third.
How about I start? Can I just start?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll start with the very first one that my friend and I came across with that we were baffled by.
Okay.
And it turns out that even to this day, this Easter egg has no correlation to the game at all. They're just in there. And this goes back to Twisted Metal 2.
Okay.
On the PlayStation.
Yeah.
In Twisted Metal 2, there are 2 codes that show up in the game, which is a sequence of, triangle, circle, X, and square.
Okay, so code.
Like input commands.
Yeah. Like Konami code type
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And one of them is discovered in the New York Tower level where you're fighting on top of like skyscrapers, and if you fall off a certain one at a certain angle and you look down, there's like lights on the road to represent like car lights.
Oh, so they're kind of moving back and forth.
No, they're not even moving. They're just stationary lights. All right. Yeah, but if you go off this one side, there's lights in the pattern of like a circle, a square, a triangle, and an X. I don't remember the exact order, but like they're obvious. The controller buttons in a specific pattern. But they don't do anything.
Huh.
They just don't do anything. And it's the same thing in the level of Paris. There's a hidden room where you can get into an art gallery, and in there is a picture of the Mona Lisa. And if you hit it with like a fire projectile, you'll burn the Mona Lisa, and a code will show up. Another sequence of X's and triangles and whatnot. But it doesn't do anything.
So, do you know why they put it in there?
I have no idea.
Okay, all right.
But I just remember, being...
Comment section below, ladies and gentlemen, if you know what that code was for, then...
I think they've confirmed, like,
it doesn't mean anything?
It doesn't mean,
it
doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything in the game.
Oh, all right.
But I just remember back then... The internet wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So like we're going to like every level, every section, every menu screen, every character.
Maybe it was
just trying these codes. And
maybe it was the Twisted Metal guys trolling the first ever trolls.
We're pretty sure that they're just troll codes.
Yeah.
But I remember just spending hours trying to figure out what do these do, what are these unlocked with a friend of mine, and that for me was the first time where I had ever been involved in it wasn't even really called an Easter egg at the time. It was considered like a cheat code, but nobody knew what to do with it.
Yeah. And
so it was very baffling. And it kind of sucked, to be honest, because it's just like, what?
Because you're trying to replay it.
What do you do? And we're spending like days, like our days off from school, Saturday and Sunday, just trying to figure this out. Because we played a lot of Twisted Metal. We loved Twisted Metal. Yeah. We also liked that. We were big Rob Zombie fans, and his car from the Dracula music video is in like Twisted Metal 3. You can play it as a play. I think it's Twisted Metal 3. It's a playable vehicle. Yeah, we always like that.
It'll be coming soon.
But yeah, that's just one that I can think of just instantly. That's the first one I can think of where it's just like had like any sort of impact on my gaming history, my gaming memory, is those 2 codes, and just like what do they do? Nothing at all.
Okay.
But it's just I find that interesting that they would just do that, something like that to their
players.
It's
cool that it added a sense of replayability on its own.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they're just gonna keep playing our game because we have this fake code in here. So yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Good game though, by the way. If you've never played it, it probably will feel really dated if you try it now, but back then, man, that was my jam.
So how many of those do you have total, or do you just have them kind of written down?
They're just kind of written down in a mess. I can shoot through a bunch of them real quick.
Okay.
But
yeah, because I was like, maybe I could sprinkle mine in there and not necessarily like take over the topic. So if you have like 5, I can like you can give another one and I'll do one.
I can keep going if you just want me to do a couple and then you want to pop in.
Yeah, you do one more and I'll do mine and then we'll come back to you.
All right, so I'm gonna switch over now to a different game. I have 2 Easter eggs for this particular series that we'll talk about, and it is The Witcher.
Okay.
Specifically, Witcher 2.
Which is what we did see some sort of thing.
It actually is that specific one.
Oh, okay.
If in The Witcher 2, near the beginning of the game, I think it's in like the 2nd act or something like that. You're in this like big battle scene in this castle that has like sort of like a small city kind of around it. And when you're exploring the city, if you go off in this corner, there is a broken haystack or a cart of hay, and lying there dead is an obviously white-hooded, white-robed guy. And it's funny because Geralt, as he walks up and goes, guess they'll never learn, you know? And I saw that, and I just was like, oh, that's such a good rip at Assassin's Creed.
They're not even close to related, right? It's just CD Projekt Red and the other crew. So
they don't mention anything about assassins or anything like that. It's just a guy in a white hooded robe.
Yeah.
Face down in the road.
That's kind of funny though that they crossed over those brands, even though because normally you see like companies that make a joke based on their other property, like when Ubisoft is usually making fun of Ubisoft or you know that kind of stuff. But CD Projekt Red making fun of Ubisoft is a funny thing.
Yeah,
so.
And that one I remember when I came across that first time, it made me laugh. Pretty
Witcher
good.
2 confirms that they're in the same universe.
And then another one from the Witcher series is from The Witcher 3, and it's actually a quest. And I was not. It took me totally by surprise. And you come across a troll. Okay, you come across a troll, and trolls talk very. They speak
dumb,
yeah, very primitive. But this troll thinks he's the best singer there ever is, and you'll never guess what kind of a song he sings.
Opera.
No.
What? He actually sings the song?
He sings something similar to it.
Oh my god.
And it's a troll basically singing the Trollolol song.
Yeah.
And your whole quest is to help him become like the merriest singer of all time.
Wow.
And it's so just it's so good. It's so like just ridiculous.
That sounds
ridiculous. He's just like, I good singer. You know, and if you can find that quest, it's really short, but man, that one left a nice impression on me because it just made me laugh.
Funny. Yeah. Well, segue out of I actually didn't write this one out, so I guess I'll have 4.
Yeah.
So, there was a mission in Red Dead Redemption that was a joke on the San Andreas, like fake Easter egg that everyone thought that if you go in the woods that you would find Sasquatch, but you never did. He's never in the game. But in Red Dead Redemption, they did a callback to that, where in Undead Nightmares, the DLC, you do a mission that you actually see Sasquatch, because the whole thing about Undead Nightmare is mythical creatures and zombies and blah, blah, blah. So you go and you see this guy that's telling you to, like, go and kill all of these Sasquatch, right? Or no. How is that? Is it in Red Dead that they do that?
I'm pretty sure it's actually GTA 5.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It is in GTA 5.
No, in GTA 5 you find the one that survives.
Right. But there is a Bigfoot in Red Dead though.
Yes.
There is.
Yes.
So
what is the now I'm remembering this wrong.
Yeah. I don't remember the premise of it either.
Okay, in general, one of the games, I believe it's Red Dead, where you have to go. Yeah, you go and kill all the Sasquatch, and then there's a last one where then he will say, "You've killed all of my family and blah blah. Blah. Kill me."
Yeah.
And you can either be an asshole and not kill him, or you can kill him.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Red Dead.
Yeah.
So the Red Dead mission is the killing all the Sasquatch, and then it fast forward to GTA 5.
Yep, you got it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you can go and see this guy that's like. There's a mission where a guy's dressed up as Sasquatch, and then there's like I think another mission where you actually do have a Sasquatch in the game,
and it's like the same sort of dilemma.
Yeah,
as the first one,
it's it is as if that Sasquatch survived the whole time. I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering the GTA 5 thing wrong, but I remember the Sasquatch mission being really funny because you're like. The way that the mission is given to you is there are a menace. They need to go die, and you need to go do it. And so you're like, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And then you're running around killing all these Sasquatch, and then the final one. Yeah, you're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, you've been killing all of my family.
Yeah. So that was kind of an Easter egg thing because you have to go and find it, and then you got to go and do it, and then it's a callback to
San Andreas,
an original, Rockstar game.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned Rockstar.
This side.
Oh, sorry, Rockstar, and the GTA series, because one of my Easter eggs I have on my list here is the abundance of, like, I have it written down as "there's nothing here" signs in the Grand Theft Auto games.
Yes, there was one in.
They're all kind of
in Vice City.
There's one in Vice City. There's one in 3. They're kind of, there's one on top of a bridge in, like, in San Andreas that you can get there with a jetpack. They scatter them kind of. They're just kind of everywhere. Where, you know, if you like jump your way over or you get back into this area, there's just this sign that just trolls you for like getting there.
Don't they actually have like an actual Easter egg though? Like an actual Easter egg is
I think
there?
in
one of them they do. Because what's the one where you jump through the building and it's like it looks like a building, but when you jump through it, it's like actually phases out and then you're in a room. There's one like that. Remember. Okay, there's one like that, and then you see it's an Easter egg. Like that's the joke, is you found an Easter egg. So
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think it's in San Andreas. No, in Vice City. I think it might be Vice City. Oh, okay. Maybe.
But that was actually one on my list, is like the all of the "there's nothing here" or like the trolling messages in all the Grand Theft Auto games that you can come across just by going in areas that you're not supposed to, but like they're not gonna like invisible wall you out of, you know. Like a lot of games, invisible walls drive me nuts. Just like, let me fall off the map or something, than hit invisible walls. But
Flat Earth confirmed.
Yeah. But yeah.
I'll let you tell me when you want me to do another one.
Oh, well, I've only got one game left.
Okay, I got a few. So here, I'll give you 2, and then I'll save my last one. And they're kind of short. So obviously we're going back to some Xbox stuff because I mean we're predominantly Xbox players. So my thing is when this is a shout out to the Rooster Teeth crew, was in Halo 3, you got to hear Simmons, and you got to hear what else? Like there was all the red versus blue guys, and depending on whichever difficulty you were on, you got to hear different dialogue banter. I thought that was really cool because it was the first. I think that was probably the first Easter egg I heard about, and I did.
You're like, I gotta go do this.
Yeah, because my friend was like, "Oh yeah, you hear that the red versus blue guys are on there," and I'm like, "What?" And so I went back and played Halo 3, and like to that first, I think it's like the first 2 levels, like you can do it. But instead of going right, if you go left, or if you go backwards, or whatever it is, and you go around this whole corner, you'll see a guy knocking on the door, and he's like, "Hey, let me in," blah blah blah. And then on the other end, you'll hear a character from Red vs. Blue saying, "No, let you in," blah blah blah, and all this. And I think if I remember, I might be remembering it correctly too. It's been a long time. That it alternated the red team and the blue team. So I think you did hear Church. I think I remember hearing Church, but I honestly could be remembering wrong. And then another short one was Gears of War 3. This was another Easter egg that one of the first Easter eggs that I actually did, because I was like, oh, I didn't. In Gears of War 3, there were pipes that you could shoot. I think this was maybe a quarter of the way through, maybe
very early in the game.
And if you shoot all the pipes in a certain order or whatever, a chicken will pop out. And then if you shoot the chicken a number of times, it grows into this giant golden chicken, and then it breathes fire, and it just kills you instantly. And it's like, it's the most ridiculous thing, because you'll see these like manly men shooting a chicken, and then all of a sudden this giant thing comes out and then just like obliterates them all. And you're like, oh, well, all right. That's how that works out. But that was one of my favorite Easter eggs. It probably still is one of my favorite Easter eggs, just because it was like so wacky that Epic put it in there. And I don't know, I really like it.
It's a very Legends of Zelda.
Yeah, it is a callback to that. So,
you mess with the chickens, you get the coop.
Yeah, exactly. Or you get something else.
You get something else, yeah. You mentioning the red versus blue team, I actually have on my list here. I don't know if you're familiar with this game, with this YouTube channel, but Neebs Gaming, which is one of my favorites.
Those are the guys that do the Battlefield stuff, right?
They used to do,
but I remember as a Battlefield guy.
They used to do like Battlefield Friends and on all that. Well, because of those, and because of their videos that they do, they have some parts, some dialogue parts in like Frontline, Battlefield Frontline. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, a Hardline.
Hardline, yeah, Battlefield Hardline.
We don't want another blue hole incident.
Yeah, no. They if you go up into like and there's like a park and there's like a community like bathroom there, and if you go up to one of the stalls and you knock on the stalls enough times, you'll get Neebs is in the stall and he'll start yelling back at you.
That's pretty funny.
They also have voice work in Subnautica for their Subnautica series that they did.
Wow, they've already gotten in that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just fun to hear them in those games because they're ridiculous.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of other like famous people and YouTubers that have been in other games, but I know that it's like
it's not
just
something
cool
that's not that's not uncommon.
Yeah,
so.
It's always cool though to hear people that are doing that as their content like in those games though, because that means like it's canon, and that was Microsoft essentially and Bungie confirming Red versus Blue is canon.
Yeah,
and so
it's also the thing is with Battlefield 4. When they launched Battlefield 4, right, one of their advertisements that they did is they had the Neebs crew do a cartoon for them. And at the end of the video, the character Neebs, who's the noob character, is running onto the beach after getting off the boat, and he's shouting about, let's go get the Megalodon, let's go get the Megalodon, guys. And there's like, so everybody for like the longest time was thinking that, because DICE in their games will do these weird, intricate Easter eggs.
Yeah, in Battlefield 1, you can, if you throw a grenade in like this other place, in this specific place, a land shark will pop up, and I think that's the Megalodon.
That's, you can thank the Neebs crew for introducing that Megalodon sort of theme. Yeah, because the Megalodon was not an Easter egg in any of the Battlefield games.
So why did they say it?
Because they're being silly. No, they're just being funny.
Oh, okay.
And so later on, as the game was out, in one of the patches on that same map that the cartoon was animated in, they added in this super intricate thing where like you shoot like these birds from this tree from like across the map, and these lights pop up, and then a Megalodon will just like jump out of the water and crash. And they added this in like a year or so after the game came out, just because everybody was just looking for this Megalodon, because it's like, well, if they're talking about Megalodons, like it's got to be somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But I give props to DICE for actually going in and implementing that like into the game, because it's just like it just pleases the community. It's like, oh, you guys want a Megalodon? All right, it's in there. Go find it.
Yeah.
You know. But it's nice to see that, like they have that some content creators can have like some influence in the games like that. But
and then that means that the companies are listening too.
Yeah,
they're listening communities, which is awesome.
But because they have it's just nice to see that they incorporate that kind of stuff.
So you want to do your last one? Or you want me to do?
No, go ahead, because my last one might be a little bit.
Okay. So the last one is another these. So every one of these, except I got obviously the Red Dead one, was something I tried as a kid. With all I heard was how to do it, but I never got to see what it was. So when I tried it all, and then I got it, I was like, "What is this?" So Black Ops had an Easter egg where if you were strapped into a chair in the main title scene, but if unknowing. If you hit the triggers, your guy will go like this, depending on which arm. So if you do the left trigger, you'll move like this, and if the right trigger, you do this. If you do it enough times, you'll eventually like break out of them, and then you can like get up and like walk around. But for some weird reason, you could walk around to this terminal thing, like this little computer terminal, and you can type whatever a code into it, and then have some sort of thing going on with it. If you typed in I think it's Dead Ops. I can't remember the Dead Ops specific one. Maybe it is just Dead Ops or something like that. But if you type that into the terminal, you unlock Dead Ops Arcade, which was the first game of Dead Ops Arcade, and now has returned in every Black Ops game. And it was a top-down shooter, and you're like, what is this? This is crazy. But it's awesome, like that they put this whole secret game that you could honestly have played by, like, let's say the internet didn't exist. You could have played Black Ops all the way through, and then you could,
play it multiple times.
Yeah, and then just return it after a couple of years, and then eventually find out that there's this whole secret game that was in the game the whole entire time. And then there was another game called Zork, I guess. I didn't know how to play this game just because at the time I didn't care to. It's kind of like a DOS type of game. And I didn't play this one, but I do know that there were 2 games, and you got 2 achievements for it if you did both codes. So, but yeah, that was a really cool thing because it was like so unexpected. Of like, wait, what? They have 4 game modes because you have Dead Ops, I guess, including. So yeah, you'd have the main game, multiplayer, zombies, and then these 2 weird off-brand games. I mean, not off-brand, but I mean, sorta. But yeah, it's weird.
Just
it's
in there,
cool.
just jammed in there.
Yeah, and you could play up to like 4 people on the
really
arcade. Yeah, because it was just top down, and then everyone would
was
be
it
like
local?
It was twin stick shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like local, or could you do multiplayer?
I think you could do multiplayer. I mean
online multiplayer.
Yeah. I think I played it with Christian. So, yeah.
Neat.
But yeah, that was a really cool thing, and ever since then they've kind of implemented that into every game afterwards. They just keep putting this stuff in there because now there's like Black Ops 2 had the Atari sign where you could like change the on Nuketown 20 whatever, you can change the sign to play Atari games and like old Atari, like Pitfall, depending on whatever you put in there. So yeah,
you mean old Activision games?
Yes, I guess that would be that. Yeah, but they were on the Atari.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
So that's my last one.
All right. So my last game that I'm going with has a lot of Easter eggs. However, I've narrowed it down to just a couple of my favorites from it.
No particular order.
No particular order.
Okay.
I don't have like this is my favorite and all that. Okay. It's Borderlands 2.
As one, yes, the Borderlands
2 has Easter eggs left and right. Just a few like quick mentions for me was finding Double Rainbow.
That was a thing, yeah.
Double Rainbow's in there. Having Minecraft.
The creepers.
The creepers, and you can get the Minecraft heads.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
If the creepers have had a chance to drop a head skin that was a Minecraft version of the characters, it was just like a brick. It was like a square head, and it would be all pixelated Minecraft-like for the character. You could also get like a skin too, but it wasn't. The skin wasn't blocky. It was just like a.
It looked.
It was just like a pattern. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was interesting because like they acted like creepers. Like they would come at you and try and blow you up, and they would come at you in waves, like 3 of them, or like 1 would come at you, and then 2 would come at you, and then like 3 of them, and then a big one would come at you. I probably would have to say my second favorite if I was gonna order them is a Dark Souls Bonfire.
Yeah, this
is
one
like
seems like it hits a little home here.
It's way out there. Like if you're not like leveled enough, or if you don't have the gear, you won't be able to find it because you have to go against. You have to run through like this toxic water that like will kill you over time.
Woo.
So unless you don't have like,
I thought something was falling. That's why I was like, "Whoa, what happened?"
All right, I'll help you out.
For the audio listeners,
yeah,
there's a cat now involved in the scenario.
You had to go through like this toxic water to get to it. So if you didn't have the health or the shielding to get there, you wouldn't make it. But like there's a bonfire that you can light, and there's like how in the Souls games, I forget what they call them. There's a term for it, but you can see like the outlines of players. There's one like sitting there by the bonfire. I think it's supposed to be somebody, but I can't think of his name. I can picture him, but I can't think of his name. But probably my favorite is the main character for the 3rd DLC. I can't remember what it's called. He's like the mayor of the town. Mm-hmm. He's just straight up Macho Man Randy Savage.
Nice.
And
that's okay. Is that the DLC for the Macho Man thing?
Yeah. It was the 3rd DLC.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I loved every minute of that. That character was so good. He's just so over the top.
Did they make him
explosions?
Okay, they did.
Yeah, no. Like, it was so good.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite DLC in Borderlands 2 was that particular one, just because the atmosphere and that the main, I guess, antagonist, I guess you would say, the mayor of the town. Basically, it was literally just a Borderlands version of Macho Man Randy Savage.
So they did kind of a, what do they call that? Idiocracy or Idiocracy? You know that movie?
I have no idea.
Where he like goes to the future and like, you know,
Macho Man?
No.
I'm like, Macho Man's in a movie?
The main character goes to the future, and then like the president of the United States is like a professional wrestler.
Oh, no.
And it's like all ran by this sort of idea of like I don't know, it's really stupid. Like junk food and like the only, I don't know, it's weird. You have to go watch it. I think it's available somewhere on streaming services. It's a funny sort of movie, but it's stupid as hell. It has like Dax Shepard's in it, but he's not the main character. He's like a buddy of the guy. Anyway.
But yeah, that whole DLC, because I didn't like all of the DLC. So some of the DLC in Borderlands 2 wasn't that great. Some of it was just like huge empty, land masses. But that one was really good. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But that character made it for me. Because he was literally just Macho Man, as crazy as Macho Man is. Looks like him, sounds like him, talks like him. He's just, do you need explosions? Here's some explosions, Whoa-wee, It's so good. I guess also the D&D one was good too. The last one, that was a good one too. Tiny Tina's Dungeon Adventure or whatever, that was a good one too. But yeah, that I love the fact, because I grew up watching wrestling when Macho Man was wrestling. So
gotta get back into it, man.
I just don't
It hasn't gone anywhere. It's gotten better. Ronda Rousey's now part of it.
I saw that.
She's not actually that bad.
I saw like a clip of her slamming Triple H.
Yeah, that happened a few times at WrestleMania. She picked him up a lot. I was like, oh god, what's happening?
But yeah. Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited. I'm excited to jump back into Borderlands if they ever make another one. Well,
speaking of
that's
the end of episode 1. This is episode 2. Welcome back. All right, where we last left off in the last episode, last part, we were talking about Easter eggs. You finished up talking about Borderlands, but if you're watching the full version, you didn't have to go anywhere. This is we're going to talk about BioShock, because there are rumors from Kotaku and the article that we read on IGN that there might be another BioShock coming soon. Which, as you guys are well aware, I'm a big BioShock fan. We've played BioShock on the channel. The only reason why we haven't played all of them is because we didn't finish the first one, but Christian's not part of it anymore, so now I'm kind of trying to figure that scenario out. You're a BioShock fan.
Yep.
So I guess let me...
You got him right there.
Yeah, the Big Daddy right over here.
The Big Daddy and Little Sister, Little Funko up there.
Oh, yeah, you do. I didn't see the Little Sister. Yeah. So to kind of set the scene here, for those that don't know what's going on. So Kotaku was going and doing an interview process for Hangar 13, which are the guys who made Mafia 3. And during that, they started hearing that there is a studio nearby that's owned by 2K.
That's under 2K.
That is secret. And they're making a game, but it's very small right now. And Kotaku asked them, like, what's going on? And they apparently, like, it's... Some of the Hangar 13 people were trying to go over because of Mafia 3 not doing so hot. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to go over to the this thing called codename Parkside is what's happening over there. I don't know if that's the name of the studio or if that is the game they're making is the code name. Like, we don't know. So from now on, we're referring to them as Parkside is the code name for that studio. And so the Hangar 13 guys, some of them were trying to go over there, but apparently they want a small company right now in order. And it seems like 2K is really trying to nail whatever the hell Parkside is, because they're like starting small and then they're gonna grow, and they're just
once they have once they have an idea,
basis of what's happening. They're not gonna go like
usually how that stuff works.
Yeah, they're not gonna like. Well, done right, it is. They're not hiring a whole bunch of people to make one game. They're hiring small amount of people, and then eventually going to keep growing, and then make. As a lot of people know, the people that did make the BioShock series have gone on and shrunk their team down to do a smaller game.
Their studio closed down.
No, the studio that what's his face owned, but him and his wife open another continued a studio to make it a little smaller game, which they have released. I think that's the one that like the deaf one, or you're blind, so you're like listening. So anytime you hear a ripple of white, I think that's that game. That's not that.
That's not that game. I
Really?
can tell you that right now. Yeah.
Were
You're the little girl?
I think so.
Yeah.
No, not. It's a first-person game.
Oh, then I'm thinking of a different game.
Yeah, not the one. Yeah, I know what you're thinking of. But anyway, so the people that have made. What I was trying to get here was the people that made BioShock are no longer making BioShock. They have said, no, we're not doing it. So this team is different. This is a whole new crew trying to take on this maybe BioShock. The reason why I said maybe is we'll get into that a little bit. The CEO of Take-Two, though, has said that, quote, it's unquestionably a permanent franchise. BioShock is unquestionably a permanent franchise, especially after BioShock Infinite. Why would you kill that series if the game sold so well? A lot of people mixed on it. I, for one, think it's one of the best. It is probably the best, in my opinion. But a lot of people do like the first game because it is the roots. It is the horror game.
I like
the
first one more just because of the horror elements.
Yeah.
Now, I do enjoy 3.
I like the characters a lot more. Because I can't be behind Jack.
I was gonna say I think the characters are better in 3, but I think I like the story and the atmosphere more in the first one.
Okay, because that's why you like Burial at Sea, though, because it combined both of them.
Yes, yes, I loved the Burial at Sea episode.
So if Burial at Sea was its own game, would that be your favorite game?
Maybe. I don't know.
No?
Maybe not. I just like Burial at Sea because it ties everything together.
Okay. So like the CEO of Take-Two has said that BioShock is like the franchise that 2K should keep going with.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, and to make this more confirmed of maybe this is what it is that, we haven't heard anything about BioShock in... Wow, when did BioShock Infinite come out?
It's been like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was like 2007?
Yeah, it came out a couple years before GTA 5. GTA 5 just turned 5, I think.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Think about that.
10-year-old game is BioShock? No.
The first BioShock.
No, Infinite. Well,
Infinite.
First one came out in 2006, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Infinite didn't come out until, I think, 2013.
Yeah, no.
I think
Infinite came out like 6 or so years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it came out in 13. Yeah, okay. All right. So it's been a while. It's been a minute. Now.
Yeah, I know it came out before Grand Theft Auto 5 because I remember being in line at GameStop to pick up Grand Theft Auto 5, and the guy next to me was like trying to tell me that Elizabeth would be the best video game girlfriend ever. And I'm like, whatever, dude.
But it's weird though. If
I know.
You know how that ends.
I know. He's like,
well, no spoilers.
He's like, oh, if I could have any girl from a video game to be my girlfriend, I'd have Elizabeth from BioShock Infinite. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, have fun with that. Also, to make this a little bit more of like, reported in a physical report in November of last year, 2017, quote, a highly anticipated new title from one of 2K's biggest franchises, end quote, would be out by 3/31/19. But another big but on that is Gearbox has been reportedly working on Borderlands for a while and is more confirmed than not. that Borderlands 3 might be coming out.
So when it comes to Borderlands 3, we were talking about this before we recorded. This isn't like a secret. They did this at a tech conference. I don't remember which one. It wasn't a video game conference like E3 or anything like that. They were at a tech conference in California or somewhere, and they were showing off what they'd worked up to so far in their Borderlands 3 engine, and showing off how well they have upgraded their cell shaded art style to work with shadows and textures and things like that. So
Telltale.
As
someone that can't do it.
So they've been working on an engine for 3, which is a good thing. I think upgrading your engine for new games, especially on a new generation, is important. Bethesda.
Wow, really throwing companies under the bus here.
And it looked good. Like, I watched it. It looked good. It was impressive. It was the colors were very, it was like the person was like in the sand.
It was very alpha.
Yeah, it was very, yes, it was very alpha. There wasn't much in terms of color. It was just like a person in the desert with like a stone wall in front of them with different textures on it, and they would just have like different lighting effects and things like that. And it looked really good, but that told me as a Borderlands fan, oh, look at this. Borderlands 3 I could expect in maybe in the next 3 or 5 years. This was about a year ago.
Yeah, see, so that's the thing. Is if this game is reportedly supposed to come out next year, quarter 1,
it's probably Borderlands 3.
You think, based on what you saw?
Yes.
Do you feel like based on what you saw, Gearbox could be farther along ahead than what we saw there?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you think that this is the Gearbox game?
I think it's going to probably be, if we were looking between BioShock and Borderlands 3, I would 100% put money on Borderlands 3 over BioShock right now.
But see, the other thing is we don't know how far along this other game is. We don't know how long Parkside
but they have a small team on it, though.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, we don't know how long they've been working on it.
Normally,
like, they could have been working on it for 2 years. It's like so secretive that we don't know what's going on.
Well, the thing when they start trying to produce a concept for a game, they usually keep the team fairly small until they get a solid idea of what they want the game to be, and then that's when they start hiring people from outside to come in and just start ramping up production and get things going. Because Take-Two is gonna do this right. They're not gonna do this like the EA way, where they throw 200 people at it, and then when stuff starts happening, people start going away. The team doesn't start big and get smaller.
Yeah.
They're gonna start small, and then as ideas become what they want to do.
Okay, that scared me for a second.
Then they start implementing more workforce to put it into full production. So I feel like this game is probably still in like a concept stage if they're under 20 people.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
And whereas Borderlands 3, they already have demos of their engine for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I like partially. I honestly do. I agree with you on the whole. Like, I think the fact is, if Take-Two is talking about this new game coming and it's from a big franchise, 2K's big franchises are Mafia, Borderlands, and I guess if this is not including sports games, and BioShock. Because if you include sports games, I guess you would be like the basketball games.
2K18 is probably their biggest game right now.
It'd be 4 major games from 2K, and those are the ones.
Yeah.
And Mafia probably not getting anything for a while.
Yeah.
Borderlands seems to be more on track of, and that's been in development for like God knows how long. BioShock. This is like the only news we've gotten in like years, and obviously the 2K series is like the basketball is nowhere near not having a game, so it's like,
update the rosters.
But I'm
tweak
curious
the engine
to see
a little bit. New game.
I'm curious to see though, where would BioShock go?
I know. Where would BioShock go?
I think
space.
Yeah, I think space is You ever realize like that's where you always need to end up? Like where else do you go?
Yeah.
Space. Like they've done the ocean, they've done the sky. You got to go higher.
Mm-hmm.
So I think space is the next place to go.
BioShock in space.
In space. Now here's the other thing. What is it on a space station or a planet? Let's make our own BioShock game right now.
I think
we got time to do it.
Yeah, I think if you want to go with more, I will say classic BioShock horror feel, space station all day.
Space station.
I think space station would be best, like a colony station,
like Alien. Like
maybe not
like that. Like
I mean, kind of yes.
It's
not so much like maybe like not like a small research vessel, but something that's like like a city,
space station,
like a
like
city
a Death Star kind
in space,
yeah,
sort of thing. So I think that would work, and I think they could play with space. Zero gravity and all that.
Watch us like totally spoil all of BioShock right now.
Yeah, right,
we're calling it. This is we're recording this in April of 2018.
Yeah.
So if you guys see when this gets announced on like IGN and stuff, you come back to this video and you tag us in it because they're gonna totally spoil the whole entire thing.
I think space station would suit their style better than being on like the moon.
Yeah, that's true. the moon.
But
what if you go to like, because if we go planet, I'm thinking we go to Mars.
They'd probably do Mars.
Yeah, because I think Mars is scarier. Because it's
probably
uncharted territory.
And it's like if something happens over there, you're
done. Yeah, you ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, my theory is I like yours.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna go to Mars though.
Yeah.
And we'll have space station and blah 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 and this and that, and then there will be aliens and stuff. And I think there will be two enemies. I think you'll have some sort of variant of the Big Daddies, because obviously in
the maintenance
Infinite,
crew.
What did Infinite have?
They had the dudes that had like the
they had the police officers. Oh, that's right. They had the handymen.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
It was the police officers and the handymen were like the big bosses. I don't know, man. Is that really the relation to Big Daddies? Yikes.
I mean,
they
sucked to come up against if you weren't
prepared.
Yeah,
I know, but they're like stupid. Like I don't like them.
They're not as intimidating.
Yeah, Big Daddies are like cool looking.
Yeah.
And I think I think we're gonna get a variant of a Big Daddy in them, and they're gonna have they'll be in a spacesuit, and that will be their thing. It'll be like a big astronaut looking thing, and that would be the variant.
Instead of a big old drill.
What would a weapon in space be? I'm like, oh, let's do a blowtorch, but what the fuck are you attaching a blowtorch to? You can't fire off flames in space.
What would he have? It would be probably some sort of repair tool of some sort.
I don't know why chain keeps coming to my mind.
A chainsaw?
Out
there in Mars.
Yeah, no, not a chainsaw, like a chain.
Gonna go do all that logging.
Like a yeah, that's the thing. It's like some sort of like fish hook thing, but then I'm like, well, then that's kind of
get over here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know what kind of like big weapon they would have as a space. They'd just be big and intimidating, I guess. Because like
pick you up
and
throw you away in zero gravity.
That's what the handyman did. They just picked you up and threw you across the whole entire world.
They did.
Though their arms
extended,
could grab you, bring you back, and then like throw you out that direction. I think I get a very Dead Space vibe when you talk about Space Station, and I don't know if going. It wouldn't be a bad idea, but what I'm saying is like, would 2K want to have a game that's essentially
Alien Isolation?
Yeah, and
BioShocky.
Yeah,
I'm sure they.
Though Alien Isolation's scary, so I'll let you know that.
Oh, I played it. I haven't finished it though. I should finish it.
Same. We played it on the channel. We never finished it. It's scary though. Yeah. So my thing is, I think they're gonna go to Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in space still. Going to Mars.
What if you started on the ship? Space station.
So the game progresses to eventually you're on
and then
Mars.
You're on Mars.
Yeah.
Like you crash land or something.
You could do that.
And then like the big boss fight is on Mars.
So here's the plot. Here's the plot right here.
All right.
You're on a rocket.
Yeah.
And you're on your like travel mission. and then all of a sudden you crash. Everything goes awry. Crash lands on Mars. Come to find out, there's been people living on Mars for like generations now.
Oh man!
And this is it right here. And so you put your spacesuit on. You walk in, open it up. Here's this like utopia, and that's essentially how you get there.
Like, yeah, that's their big like cinematic intro.
Yeah, because they do it at every BioShock except for 2. I don't think 2 had a cinematic intro.
Not that I can.
I don't remember a lot from 2, so.
I mean, they did, but not in the same like grand scale that.
Because like
BioShock
in 1, your plane crashes.
Had.
Yeah, in 1, your
crashes. And
plane
you go
crashes.
through the bathysphere.
And then you boom, here you get to see everything. Here you go. In Infinite, you get into this like you get essentially into a lighthouse. And then you get
like a hot air
up,
balloon.
Yeah, and then boom.
And there it is.
You're in there. Yeah, I think that's the game right there. That's the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You're walking around. We just spoiled Project was it Parkside?
Yeah. I mean, you totally think of it like, you take off and then you go into hyper sleep or whatever, and then maybe 15 minutes before the crash, you're let back out and you're able to like explore and kind of do things, just mundane things, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, a space debris hit X whatever, and then things start going off, and then you're like, oh, we can't enter in the atmosphere properly. And
the other thing though is, how will this connect to the others?
Maybe
without being themed, because every BioShock has some sort of, because BioShock 2 is a literal sequel to 1.
Well, how about the technology to get there?
So it's steampunk like
no.
future.
It's BioShock. It's like
okay, yeah, I guess.
the twins from not the twins, the siblings who are the same people from different dimensions. Maybe they introduce some sort of technology that gets them to Mars faster, or maybe say
so they're the ones on the ship. They could be working on the ship with you.
They could either be. What if
there's
they
like a crew?
But well, of course it'd be a crew.
I mean,
not like
probably
by yourself.
True. Yeah.
But what if they are, but you don't know it's them till like the big twist at the end?
Yeah, we've been here the whole time.
You know they do that.
So.
Or like you could have
like so destroyed. Like if this isn't people at 2K shit.
Yeah.
Going back on.
Or they could do like what would be, in my opinion, the easy way out, and just have like one of your crew members be like a descendant of Elizabeth or something. But I think that would be the easy way out.
I don't know if you can do that.
Because remember
the paradox. It didn't happen.
Who knows what happens with her? How many Elizabeths were there again?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you only killed what, one?
Well,
I don't
know.
See,
it's the way Infinite ends. It's kind of like
it's a little confusing, but
to me, the way that I felt like spoiler, because I will eventually
spoiler pause.
But
okay, go.
Yeah, the way Infinite ends, it makes it seems like you cause the paradox to stop.
In that decision when they
like you get to see the whole thing, and then all of a sudden, like I feel like the way Infinite ends, the paradox is over, and like there can never, like, essentially the timeline is over, because like it flashes you back to the past to where you're gonna be like baptized and stuff, but you get drowned and die, therefore never having Elizabeth born, therefore never continuing on the line of BioShock.
But what if he had Elizabeth? But you have to remember, though, in some of the other paradoxes, he had Elizabeth when he wasn't baptized. Oh. That's how they get her. Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. You have Elizabeth, and you're not him.
I feel like Elizabeth does need to be in the next game, though.
I think some sort of iteration of her,
because you can't just introduce a character like that and then it's never continuing on
with her and her powers and how they did. Have you played episodes?
I have not played the Burial at Sea, and I now own them, but
they've made her too integral to like the fabric of these games. to where
to like not
have her, yeah, basically,
yeah. Okay.
or have some sort of form of her in there. So like they'll either have those twins who figured out how to do it scientifically, or not the twins, the siblings, the male.
Yeah, the siblings. Yeah.
I don't remember their names, or some form of Elizabeth.
Now, we mentioned a crew.
Yeah. I tell you, one of those crewmates is gonna be one of those siblings.
What if the crew is all of these characters that you have a feeling they have some sort of importance based on other things?
Probably.
So like you have the siblings, you have Elizabeth, you have this like younger girl that's maybe like 8 or so, and she clearly looks like a little sister, but she's not. She's just like a little girl.
Yeah.
A very alien. What alien is that? Like alien. Second Alien? Aliens? You know what I'm talking about? In that scene where it's like the little girl and then like she's like saving, like Ridley is like saving.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's kind of like that element.
Yeah.
Where like she's going to be
I thought you were going somewhere else. You just meant in general.
Yeah,
the little
that
girl
was
I know
she's going to have that sort of like feeling of like, or because I feel like in this part,
you're just a babysitter.
I think she's gonna be your your babysitter. 'Cause, like you are going to be babysitting her the whole game. Elizabeth will be able to sustain her own self, and maybe even you'll get to like play. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't play separate missions. Be one all the way through. But like Elizabeth is able to sustain herself, so like you would meet up with her every so often, but she'd branch off. But she wouldn't be with you all the time. And then the siblings maybe like die at the very beginning. Like it's a crash landing. Someone's got to die.
Maybe they pop back up.
But yeah, exactly. They pop back up later and they're like, we stay up the whole time.
I mean, how many times do they just show up in Infinite?
Yeah, and there's
playing
a
piano. Yeah,
that looks like a lighthouse kind of thing. Yeah, there you go.
You need us.
By the way, all of that was all speculation. After when I said Gearbox is also making Borderlands 3, those are the last of my notes. Everything that we've said we're just
having fun.
Bullshit. It's like has nothing to do with what we So it's just
But
theory.
if you need any ideas, Take-Two.
Yeah, exactly.
We got you covered.
Just make sure you put us in the credits. Make sure you put Primal Target and then you put Ryan David. Like special thanks.
Special thanks.
In the credits.
As long as we're in that special thanks
exactly.
list.
I've always wanted to be in the credits scene, and that will be it.
Yeah, there you go.
Put us in the game. We'll fly down.
Yeah.
I have no problem being in a BioShock game.
No, I'll be a random person.
I'll be an Easter egg.
I'll be something that just screams of death, of dying, or
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's it. We're moving on to our third and final topic. This is just banter now, which was what we just did.
Yeah.
Like we just made our own video game of BioShock. Yeah, I don't know. I guess what do you want to talk about?
Do you plan on playing Gears of War 4?
Yeah, I played Gears of War 4.
I mean, not Gears of War. God of War 4.
God of War. So my dad is a big God of War fan. Like loves the series. He's played 1, 2, and 3. I have only played the PSP game, which I can't remember because there were like 2 of them. I think Chains of Olympus was the one. No, I didn't play that. That was a demo. I don't know how I got that. I had a demo disc of God of War Chains of Olympus.
A UMD demo disc?
Yes, a UMD demo disc. It slid in, then I played it, and that was how that worked. And then what else was there? I've played the first God of War to the part where you get the extra health for doing a thing. And then after that, I was kind of like, I just fell off of it. But it's on the PlayStation 3. Here's the problem, though. Why is there no... We've talked about this. Why is there no God of War 1 and 2 remastered for the PS4 or the...
Was it remastered on the 3? God of War 1 and 2 was remastered.
Sorta. They were ported over.
Right.
And they were brought over to PS3. But all it is this PlayStation 2 graphics. It's the PlayStation. It doesn't look good. I can tell you that much. It looks like crap. I'm like, yikes. This does not look like a PlayStation 3. But they took 1 and 2 and they slapped it on the same disc. So I'm assuming it probably is not the full game. It's not. It's just a port.
I don't know. I'm kind of interested in it as somebody who didn't play the Gears of War games because I played the
God of War.
Yeah.
Blue hole. Blue point.
Yeah. I never played the full games of the God of War games. I have the beta disc for the very first one.
Mm.
That's the most that I've played, and it's just like the first level, the first like Hydra fight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how they always test it out.
But this actually I think is interesting. It looks interesting to me.
I mean, IGN loves it. Like, I don't really know what else I've heard the PlayStation 4 Pro definitely
Oh, I'm sure.
peaks it. But apparently, here's something strange though. First party game, right?
Yeah.
4K capabilities, not 60 frames per second. 30 frames the whole way through. And I've also heard that sometimes drops frames.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that a first party Sony game drops frame rates and it's not 60. Then again, when you look, well, no, because that's really what Microsoft has been pushing. Because I'm thinking about since the X, what games have not had that capability that were first party, and there are none. Like, you have, I guess, where they have the 4K capability, I guess you don't get the 60 frames
because they're at 30, right?
I
4K
think so,
is at 30.
Yeah. One thing I did notice though is that some games are implementing the option to switch back and forth. A Way Out has an option in the settings where it says, do you want performance settings or resolution settings?
I would always go performance.
Yeah, I chose performance because it was like, well,
smooth, nice and smooth.
If I wasn't recording it, I would have chose resolution.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, I have the technology.
You have the tech.
Yeah. So it's like, but I do like that though. I like how I can choose, not you.
Yeah.
Don't have you choose.
Right.
I get to choose.
Yeah. No, that's good. One thing that I thought was interesting that I heard about the new God of War is that it's no loading screens and it's all
single
one shot.
It's the Birdman of video games.
Yeah, and I'm like, ooh, man, okay.
If you don't die, you'll
yeah.
never see a screen change.
Yeah, I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
That might be a reason why they didn't. It's 30 frames.
Probably.
Of what I'm seeing, like, there's reasons why it can't be a 60 frames game.
It's probably because it's probably having to not have the loading screens. It's probably having to just cycle through so much info into your RAM, like on and off, and just all the time. That it's probably just like we just can't.
I did see a video of the axe apparently is so satisfying and even watching it was like really cool. He throws it and then he just and like apparently when he calls it back, it's kind of like Thor's hammer, MCU version.
Yeah,
he calls it back and it hits. Your controller slightly vibrates every time.
Does your controller make a sound effect too?
I don't know, but I heard that it vibrates slightly, indicating that he wins. He grabs it back. It's like awesome. A sturdy like.
That'd be so cool if a sound effect came out of the controller too.
It probably does.
I would imagine so. I would imagine
PlayStation game, so yeah, I'm sure they implemented everything in that controller.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, because Nier Automata plays stuff from the control. That's your phone, I think.
We're good. It's Twitter.
Plays stuff from the controller, and the nice thing about like if I'm on Final Fantasy 14 is if I'm in like a queue and I'm playing like a DPS where queue times are long. I will go in queue, put like the controller in my back pocket, and like go do something, and it makes the controller makes like a ching.
Yeah.
When my queue pops, I'm like, sweet.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, like I'll queue and like I'll go do dishes or I'll tidy up and then just shing, and I'm like, sweet, I'll go sit back down and play my game.
Huh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was very satisfying when that first happened. I was like, I can do things while I'm not just sitting here just staring at the TV.
Now, another game, sort of, that's coming out on 420. The same with God of War is that Nintendo stuff. The cardboard.
Yeah, we have those at
Labo
work.
Is
Nintendo Labo.
Yeah,
we have those at work.
You guys already have them.
We already. Well,
I mean, it comes out this week, so
right.
I guess yeah.
We've had them for about a little over a week now. I'm sitting in there in the back.
What do you think about those?
Not for me.
Yeah.
I'm very.
Did you hear that some people are making their own?
No, see, that's the thing. I love the fact that it's gonna bring all this new. I'm excited to see what people are gonna do with it. I'm not too interested with what Nintendo does with it. I'm interested to see what people are just gonna rig up themselves to do, because I'm looking at it, and the stuff with the Nintendo, I'm looking at the one where you're boxing as the robot. You need 6 Joy-Cons to do that. Yeah.
Wait, is that the one with the big backpack?
With the big backpack, you got the hands, you have the headpiece, and because you need Joy-Cons in your feet.
Now the head, that's the thing.
No, here's
head. Are they doing VR?
I have no idea what it is.
What is this?
Because the tablet isn't here. It's the screen, and then there's a screen with I think a filter on it with your, I think it's supposed to be maybe your HUD or something. I'm just speculating, but you're looking at the TV through it.
Oh.
I believe.
Okay.
It's not something that holds the Switch.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're at home, because obviously you're not having this contraption portable.
Yeah.
And you plug it in, and so as you're playing, you look at the screen.
Yeah.
And through this, whatever this is, it's some augmented reality.
Yeah. Basically,
of where you're looking through it and seeing all the screen stuff.
Yeah, I believe that's what I'm speculating. But
I don't know. I don't know very much about Labo.
Because the thing is, I was looking at that photo of the kid who's playing the robot.
Your cat.
The kid?
Your cat.
Oh no, he's a potato right now.
I'm gonna take a picture of him. For video people, you'll get to see this. So.
But I was counting the Joy-Cons, and he's got.
You're good. Keep talking.
He's got 1 in the headpiece, 2 in each hand, one in each hand, okay? 1 on each foot, and 1 in the box. So he's got 6 Joy-Cons going on right now. And I'm like, that's an investment there. That's $200 of controllers right there.
The Joy-Cons are $80 a piece.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for 2.
For 2. So, I mean, you're looking at least $160 if you for it.
Yeah.
From what I can see on the box.
Yeah, because that would be including the ones that you already have.
Yeah, because the Switch itself is in the box, is in the backpack. I believe. I think.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I really have no idea.
Yeah, and then there's that balance game. I don't know what's going on.
And the piano. And
there's a lot that I'm like, I don't know what the heck they're doing.
I remember the day before that was announced, and I had coworkers you excited to see what Nintendo's going to introduce? And I'm like, I'm just hoping they're not going to Nintendo it. And for me, they Nintendo'd it.
Oh, okay.
They Nintendo'd it. For me personally, I have absolutely no interest.
I think they're trying to implement this Lego sort of thing.
Yeah, I
where
understand
anyone
it.
Can do it.
I understand it, and I get it. The only thing that has me interested in it is just to see what other people are gonna do with it, not so much
VR.
Nintendo.
You're kind of I don't know what this has to do with anything, but I'm willing to see what other people have to do with it. So, yeah. I don't really know what other games are coming out. I mean, you got Red Dead coming out way later.
I mean, what are you playing right now? If anything,
I'm playing Disneyland Adventures.
Oh, still
for a future thing.
Are you playing any games just for yourself?
I
you have time to kill.
I don't really have that much time to kill.
I know that.
And so it's man, I try to play as many games as I can in order to do it. I'm almost done with Disney. Well, actually, at the time of this,
yeah.
Should I announce what I'm doing with Disneyland?
No, I think
okay, all right. Yeah, so I'm doing a gameplay of that, and there's something special about that. It's not sponsored or anything. Don't worry about that. But there's some sort of thing happening with it.
There's a twist.
Stay tuned. Exactly. Stay tuned. But yeah, I'm trying to finish that. It's a long game, man.
Is it long because it's slow, or is it long because
there's just a lot of stuff to do?
Okay.
I'm 50% of the way done, and I'm I don't know what else to do. I mean, there's rides I haven't gone on, and I try not to do a ride until a character says I got to do it, because they're going to
Can you hear that?
Is he sneezing?
It's a hairball.
Oh. It's very faint. If I talk over it, then you can't hear it.
Yeah, I apologize if you hear that. My cat is dealing with a hairball right now.
He was laying in a weird way.
It's potato mode.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been trying to get through it, but it's it's just really freaking long, and you're what do I gotta do to like make some sort of dent into this game? 50. I've maxed out my level because it maxes out at 15. Because I don't know if they even anticipate people even doing it this long. And every trophy, every achievement I get, constantly rare achievement, rare achievement, rare achievement. 4.2% of people have this achievement. I'm like, well.
Nobody's playing this game.
No one's playing it to that length.
Oh, okay.
They're like, there's like, you know, if you look at the review of on the Microsoft Store, the game has like 5 stars.
Yeah,
rightfully deserved. If you go in that game and you go, man, I got nothing to do, you are not trying, and you're literally just running around because there's a lot of every character gives you something to do. Then they give you like these missions that are like, just go do it. You don't have to do it, but you can if you want. And if you go and do those missions, then it unlocks more missions from that character. So you're like, well, I want to do more Cinderella stuff. So you got to go and find these like hidden collectible things, which the game will not tell you how to find because they want that. They tell you, essentially the game holds your hand like the whole game. Because they want to kind of keep it progressively moving.
Mm-hmm.
And they also, it's a kid's game.
It's a kid's game. They understand that.
Yeah, I think you can turn off the golden e-ticket thing. I call him e-ticket just because he looks like a ticket when he's unfolded. I don't really know if that's what he is. That's another thing. They introduced this character that's like, we should go and blah 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 blah, and you're like, who the heck are you? Like, you didn't even get introduced.
Yeah.
Like, where did you come from? But I think that character was introduced in Disney Infinity, and is a meta character. Like, you would not know who that is unless you played Disney Infinity. And I played Infinity, and I remember him. I think it's the same character. I haven't gone back to Disney Infinity to like figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like I do like the game. I very much do. The only thing that's stressing me out is like I'm trying to finish it for the series, and I don't think the game ends. I think it just keeps going until you've 100%ed it, and then you're kind of just done.
Yeah.
You don't really end the game. It just keeps going and going and going and going until you just kind of fed up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was probably one of the downfalls of the game, and the reason why obviously it's not a 10 out of 10 or a 9 or
mm-hmm.
whatever. It's very much again, I'm going to keep going until I've ran out of rides. Which I have a few left. I'm almost done. But because of that, it's you know, I think I might call it quits when it comes to that. I don't know. Who knows? As of right now, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah. But when the series is over, who knows what happens? But I don't know. What have you been playing? Spending most of your time playing, I guess.
Just Rebecca and I just been playing Final Fantasy 14 together when we can.
So what keeps you coming back?
The 14?
Yeah.
It's good.
All right.
I mean,
because obviously you like it. So like,
yeah.
What is it about that specific game?
So
is it because you can play with Rebecca?
We played it with Rebecca. However, I do play it a lot, even when she's not playing. I am a fan of MMOs, and I love that style of game, and I don't want to play WoW. And this game is I actually like this more than WoW. The community is very great, not toxic and supportive. The dungeons, if you've ever done a WoW dungeon, they're not much different than WoW dungeons, but I really enjoy the combat mechanics a lot more. It's a lot less stressful. Okay. Because it's very your characters are very focused. Like, I will tell you, tanking on WoW can be very stressful. Because the people you can get grouped with will just be jerks. Like, if one mob, you know, cuts loose and like kills somebody, like, they're gonna rip you up in the chat, you know.
Yeah, you can't go Leroy Jenkins at all anymore.
No. You couldn't even go Leroy Jenkins back when Leroy Jenkins was Leroy Jenkins. But it's a lot of fun. Like, there's so much to do. The story in it is actually really good for an MMO.
You're still going through the story?
Well, the story technically doesn't end. I am just caught.
You might like Disney Infinity.
No.
Disney Adventure.
The thing, I'll say this. The story hasn't ended yet. but you get caught up to where it is at its point, and then they when they do an update, they'll add more to the story.
Got it.
So I'm caught up to where the story is, and I'm waiting for them to release more. But it's really good. There's one particular part of it where it's really slow, and you just have to trudge your way through it just to get over it. But once you do, and you get to like the Heaven Sword expansion, the first expansion, the story just takes off, and it's fantastic. The music,
a very Final Fantasy thing to say.
Yeah.
As soon as you're 17 hours into the game, it really opens up after that.
Yeah. But it's really good, and I love. It looks good. It doesn't have like a cartoony, like WoW does. Although WoW ages better, but that's because that's their art style. But the mechanics of it, like it's a lot of fun. And there's like 18 or like 20 different kinds of classes you can play, and you can play all of them on one character. Like you don't have to like, oh, I want to be a warrior. Well, I got to go on my warrior character.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like if you want to be a warrior, like the way you choose your class is based on the weapon you have equipped. So like if I have like my daggers equipped, boom, I'm a ninja. I take those off and I put like a sword and shield on, boom, I'm now a paladin. And you just kind of carry around your gear, and you just put it on and off, and there's so much to do. The healing classes are fun. I really like my healing class that I play. It's called Astrologian, and you have like these almost like tarot-like cards. So like the thing is a lot of the classes play like by default they all play fairly the same. Like all the DPS will have like this sort of generic damage of abilities rotations to do, but they'll be a little bit varied depending on the different classes. However, they'll each have their class specific abilities, which is what will really differentiate them. And like the Astrologian, what differentiates them from the others, like your typical white mage who's just like a pure out healer, or the scholar who has like a healing like fairy pet that can help them heal.
So these are Final Fantasy classes in an MMO,
yeah.
In an MMO,
yeah.
So
like your traditional Final Fantasy tropes, like
so take your RPG and just slap the MMO on it as well,
basically,
and then here you are.
Yeah, and then but what I like about it is though is that, like I don't have like this fairy to help me heal or anything like that. I have like these almost like I want to say almost like tarot cards, but like I'll draw a card, and I draw a card at random, right? I don't know what card I'm gonna get, and the card can get basically buffs party members or buffs a party. Like I can get a buff that buffs damage reduction, attack speed, attack damage, attack crit, mana regen, but I get them at random. And so for me it's sort of like controlled random factor, because like I can swap cards out and do different things with them, but that sort of controlled random keeps the class exciting, and for me it doesn't get boring because it's always on this fight what card am I gonna get, boom, oh well I have, so it's like, oh I have an increased damage attack speed card, a haste card. Well, what classes do I have that would benefit the best of it? Oh, look, I got a samurai. Samurai would like haste. I'm going to give the samurai that card.
So, why have you not played Monster Hunter? Because of what I understand, A, it's a very popular game.
Yeah.
B, every time someone talks about it, it's like, oh, this now you telling me this kind of sounds sort of similar.
So it's instead of, because with Monster Hunter,
I know there are differences.
Yeah.
I guess my main question is just why you didn't try it, why you've not given that a shot.
Well, I've played previous Monster Hunter games.
So why?
Because with Monster Hunter, I don't know how many. In Final Fantasy, I'm positive that there's a larger community
on the Final Fantasy thing.
Yeah, it's the second largest MMO in the world behind WoW. I know there's thousands of people that play on the server that Rebecca and I play on. There's I don't know how many people. I don't know how to find out how many people are on at like peak hours or anything like that, but I feel like the community is more engaging in a traditional MMO than in a game that's an MMO light. Because let me ask you this: because you used to play Destiny.
I dabbled, yeah.
How often did you actually communicate with other players?
Anyone that wasn't in my party, hardly ever.
Okay, it's
and
not
probably not ever.
Yeah,
so
it's not like that in Final Fantasy.
Oh, you have to talk to people.
You don't have to, but it's much easier.
Well, I've been noticing every time I come in here, you got your little keyboard over there too.
Yeah.
So like,
I can plug a keyboard and mouse in my PlayStation and
well,
play it like
Xbox too. But
and
like,
play it like a computer.
Why do you not buy your own chat pad?
What's that?
Why do you not buy a chat pad?
Chat pad for the PlayStation?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because we just had a
okay.
Bluetooth keyboard
Right.
laying around.
Sense. I didn't know if you bought the Bluetooth keyboard specifically because I was like, why didn't you just buy a chat pad to eliminate that whole factor?
No. We just had the Bluetooth keyboard.
Do you remember how stupidly ridiculous the PlayStation 3 chat pad looked?
No, because
it was on the top.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Of course it was.
So the Xbox had it like a normal human being would type.
Yeah.
And then the PlayStation one was on top. So you'd be like playing it, and then you'd have to like go up here to. It's a small controller, but still, like,
I know, because I always use keyboards. Like back when I played EverQuest on the PlayStation 2, I physically plugged in a keyboard into the USB, and
you're more likely to have one of those laying around than buying a $20 to $30
same thing with the PlayStation 3. I physically just plugged in a keyboard and just typed with the keyboard because this for me is much easier than this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying.
But like the communication and the community in 14 is nice. It really is. It's not talk. I mean, you'll get your occasional a-hole every now and then, but that's just a game on the internet. Mm-hmm. And it's not an MMO, it's a proper MMO. It's not an MMO light like a lot of the games are trying to do now, like Destiny. I even consider the Monster Hunter an MMO light.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't play it just because I'm not into those games.
Mm-hmm.
I think they look cool. Like, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the thing is like if I'm ever gonna go back to a Final Fantasy, I would rather play 13. Because I own it, and it's like I just haven't played it, and it's like I think Lightning looks cool, and and
I think
as the character,
I think she's a terrible protagonist.
Oh really? I hear that. I hear that Lightning is like one of the most single dimension characters out there.
Like she looks good, and I think they could have done a lot better with her, but they tried to make her so much the.
You've played all of them, all the 13 stuff.
Yeah, I haven't played the last one because Lightning Returns because I just didn't want to.
Oh, okay.
But she just doesn't have any personality. She is.
I've played games like that.
She is the total. What do they call it? The Tsundere trope anime.
Whatever
character.
That is.
I think it's called Tsundere. It's an anime type of character, and it's usually a female who outputs the strong silent type, but then she'll have like moments of weakness. And it's a common character type. Usually every anime has one of them.
Sekirei, name one.
Her name is actually a play off of the term Tsundere. It's called Tsumi.
Is that the one that's like
blonde
a
hair?
Boy?
No, the blonde hair. No, blonde hair.
Blonde hair, big boobs. That's 90% of them.
No, that's one. There's one. No, I think I have.
Because I saw your hand structure going in for it.
No, she's got the blonde hair, but her name is actually a play off of the word off of the term Tsundere, and her name is Tsumi, which is like the first like 3 or 4 letters is of Tsundere and Tsumi are like the exact same.
Okay. All right.
But yeah. Usually most anime, if there's a large female cast, will have one.
Ruby.
Weiss.
Shit. Yeah. All right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. We can keep going.
No, I don't know any others.
Okay.
That are predominantly women.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm sure there's one in what was the one you watched? DxD?
I don't watch
it.
I've seen it. Don't make it sound like that is a thing I watch all the time. Because it's like, I think it's like it's the 3rd or 4th season now. I've only seen the first season, so I will say I've seen it. But like I'm not religious because if you start saying like, oh, you watch High School DxD, not a good thing to be tied to your name.
I mean, you just brought up Sekiro with me.
But Sekiro, you don't know unless and the people that do know about it know about how good the story is. DxD knows what it is, and it very much predominantly shoots itself for it.
But no, that was my problem with Lightning. Is she is too much too set in this Sundara role of a character, and to me that hurt the character. Because she could have been so cool, so badass, but she's just so like locked behind this like tough wall that's just like nothing phases her until something happens with Sarah at like the end of the game.
Spoiler! I haven't played it. You're like, well, it's been out for like 14 years, so I wouldn't know why. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
But yeah.
No, I do want to. I want to play it, but like, I just haven't.
I will say I saw
13.
I really enjoyed 13 too.
Okay.
If you kind of ignore the story.
Is that the one? Is it Lightning Returns or is it 13-2 where you have to play 40 hours to actually where it really opens up? Like the tutorial.
The world.
The tutorial, like
13.
13, the first one.
Yeah, the first one. The tutorials are kind of long.
Because it said like
you keep going.
Because I remember watching the Penny Arcade. No, that would make sense. I remember watching the first season of Penny Arcade PATV was like back when that game came out, and it was oh my gosh, that's gonna suck. It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
I hope it just doesn't turn me off of it though.
I mean, it's for me.
Then again, 10 turned me off. So
for me, it's easy to ignore. Like you just have to like just push some things aside and just go.
Yeah.
Like when people say, you know, I want to get into Final Fantasy, I want to play it on the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3, you know, generation. I always say start with 13.2 because 13.2 basically like plays off the end of 13 if it ended differently. Yeah, they warped the ending a little bit. And then I always tell people, because so that way you don't really have to go in thinking you need to have played 13.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole, because it's very, the scope of the story revolves a lot around time travel. Okay? Going, you know, back forth time, changing events. But when the story starts getting into saying things like, we have to go to the future to change the past, and you're like, that doesn't. And it's like, well, it's like, but it's like, but no, but the thing is, it's like that theoretically doesn't work.
Not in Back to the Future.
How did they change the future to change the past?
They went. Okay, so in the second movie,
yeah, they go to the future.
They go to the future.
Yeah,
they see Biff.
They go
is running the show now.
Yes, because they're trying to get the book away from him that he bet on. Remember?
Yes. Why did they? Oh, so he's just trapped there, and so they have to go back in time to go and fix the future. All right, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
When they
have you seen the diagram of Back to the Future?
No, I don't.
Oh, God, it's so convoluted. It's like, well, Doc draws it out partially. We'll come back to the Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Doc draws it out partially in Back to the Future 2. He like goes, we need, or I think in the first one, he's like, here's the future, here is now, and here is what our timeline was, but it's no longer that. We'll never get to that anymore. So this is Biff going into the future, and then we need to go back in time to go forward in time and to make this the new future. And because of that, like all of these things, essentially, like a lot of people go, Marty McFly dies. And so the only Marty that we know is the Marty that's in the first movie. And the other Martys are like dying as they're progressively moving on. It's so weird. It's so weird to find like the timeline and the theories behind Back to the Future. It's crazy. Anyway. Yeah. So that's a thing. But, anyway. Going future in time to fix the past to fix the future.
Yeah. So when I tell people if they're gonna start playing, Final Fantasy 13-2, once they start getting into the story where they start saying going to the future to change the past, just go with it.
Okay.
Just go with it.
All right.
Because the combat in it is fantastic. I will say the best thing to come out of the 13 and 13-2, by far, the best thing about it, in my opinion, is the soundtrack in both games. So good. Especially considering how it's not like traditional Final Fantasy music. It's like electronic. There's actually...
Oh, man. That does sound like it's up my alley.
There's actual like rap and vocals in 13-2, but it works.
Okay.
It works. I know everybody was thought about that too when it came out, but like when you've actually listened to it, it doesn't sound that bad. Right. It sounds actually pretty good. Like it fits the theme.
Maybe that might be a game that I want. I've debated on recording it or not because I'm like I don't know if because I won't know what I'm doing. So I'm just
and I also tell people the combat system with like difference between 13 and 13-2 is the combat system in 13 is a more streamlined version of the combat system in 13-2. Sorry, it's a more streamlined version of the combat in 13. Plus, there's like a pseudo Pokemon element to it too, because there's 3 of you fighting, right?
Yeah.
One of you is Joel. I think that's his name. Noel or Joel, or I don't remember his name.
Okay.
Future boy kid.
Yeah.
And the other one is Sarah.
Joel's future isn't very good. Last time I played as a Joel and it was set in the future, things weren't going so well. So.
But your third party member was always a monster that you had captured and is fighting with you.
Oh, okay.
So it has this sort of pseudo Pokemon feel to it. And you can if I remember, you swap them out in mid battle and things like that, and you can level them up and all. Yeah, it's really good. But the soundtrack though is really what sticks with me. It's really good.
All right. Well, I'll definitely see what happens in the near future.
I have 13-2 for the PlayStation 3. I think you borrowed it once and then gave it back to me.
Yeah, because I was like, well, I have the first one. I haven't beat this one yet. So, but ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it. That has been episode 16 of Bitcade. We actually stayed on topic and stayed on time the whole way through. But ladies and gentlemen, if you got topics that you guys want us to talk about, make sure you put it in the comment section below, and we might put it on another. We'll give you a shout out. We'll put it on the next episode and do things like that.
What do you think of 13?
Yeah, exactly.
Final Fantasy 13.
Or whatever else we talk about. Our
else.
fake BioShock game as well.
Would you buy a BioShock game?
BioShock game? Because I know I would. But yeah, so that's going to be it. Links are in the description below for all social media. There is a end card so you can check out the last full episode of Bitcade, plus a random video of the future, and a subscription button that you can click on so you can subscribe and not miss out on anything. If you really don't want to miss out on anything, you can tap that bell button too. Any final words?
No? Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right.
No, it was a good one.
Nothing you want to say to the PT Nation?
I mean, seems like, Shadow Colossus is being received well so far.
Yeah. I think by now it should be almost over. But
probably
maybe,
now, yeah.
maybe. I don't know. Maybe we might be halfway through. Also, this is an audio version as well. You can go and subscribe to us on iTunes as well. It is the Primal Target Podcast Hub. Over there. You can go and subscribe to us and listen to the audio versions of this as well. If you want to get caught up, they are over there. More things to come into the near future also. So that's going to be it. My name is Ryan. This has been...
I'm David.
And we will see you in the next episode.
And that's a sleepy kitty.
Bye.